Today we're going to make some leek and potato soup. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to have 3 leeks. I'm going to quarter them and then dice them. Just cut the end off. Now leeks grow in the ground like this, from the base up to the shoots and the leaves at the top. And because it grows out of the soil and these leaves are fairly open along the top, soil can get in. So we need to split the leek down the middle and in half again and give them a good wash so there's no dirt in there. So let's just do one. Turn it around. And it's here where you should see dirt, if there is any, at the root, and also in the leaves up here. This one's fairly clean, but I'm still going to give it a wash. All we want to achieve, pieces about 1 inch long, or 2.5 centimetres if you're metric. Next we're going to take 2 celery stalks, chop them up finely. I'm going to peel some carrots and dice them up. Right, I've just cut and diced 2 sticks of celery. And what I'm going to do now is dice 2 carrots. And what I'm going to do first, I'm going to cut them in half. Now when I come to dice these, it's very unstable. Holding a carrot, it wants to rock around. You don't want to cut it like that. You want to cut it in half, maybe half again, to dice it. There we go. The knife in, straight down the middle. And what you're doing now is creating a stable platform for you to cut the carrot. So I'm going to quarter that, keeping your fingers out of the way. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to dice my carrot as finely as I've diced my celery. Fingers to the side, middle finger as your guide, thumb at the back, which allows you to bring your fingers forward or backwards. And what I'm going to do, using the rocking motion, there again, undice carrot, just finish the rest. Now, celery, carrot and onion are usually the basis of any decent stock, and what we're trying to do here is create that stock effect in our leek and potato soup. But I'm also going to be adding about a pint, maybe a pint and a half of chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock. Mine's homemade. Yours doesn't have to be, it can be out of a stock cube. And what I've done here, just to dice the onion, I've cut the onion about halfway, 3/4 of the way through. And what I'm going to do now is go down and score some lines down the onion, in a rocking motion with your fingers out of the way. Leave the end, you get a nice fine diced onion. We'll do that with the other one. And we're going to saute the onions, the carrots and the celery off. Don't want to put colour on them, I just want to make them go soft. Then we're going to add the leeks and the potatoes and add some stock. And we're going to let it boil for about 20 minutes or so, and that should produce a nice leek and potato soup. And once that's done, we could add in some milk to thin it down a little bit, or some cream to make it richer. And once you're done there, we can then blend it with a stick blender, or you can stick it in a blender. In batches probably be easier, the amount we're going to make. And then we're just going to decorate it with some parsley on the top. A tablespoon of oil. Put our onions, celery and carrots, and then just waiting for these to soften down. So let's chop our potato up. So what we're going to do, potatoes rock about, so what I'm going to do is just cut a small piece off the bottom, which will give us a flat platform. Then I'm going to dice my potato. Little cubes, what we want. I'm going to try and keep them all the same size, so they all cook at the same time. That's our diced potato. They've softened down quite nicely. Next we're going to put in the leeks. This is about a pound of leeks. We're going to put them into the big based saucepan. We're going to sauté these off. In your biggest, heaviest pot you can find, because my one was a little bit too small there. What we're going to do is we're going to finish sautéing our carrot, 2 carrots, 2 celery, 1 small onion, 3 medium leeks. And we're about to add in our washed potato, diced washed potato. I'm just using the saucepan as a receptacle. So we are going to basically get these covered in the oil and in the juices that's coming out of the vegetables. Mix the flavours about a bit. And at the back of my hob here, I've got my homemade chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock if you wish. And what I'm trying to achieve is about 2 pints of chicken stock that we're going to add to our leek and potato soup. Now what we're trying to do is get the onions soft, the potatoes will start to break down if I leave them long enough, but that's the job of the chicken stock. That's about ready. So what I'm going to do now is pour in my chicken stock onto my leek and potatoes. That stops the frying process, and now we start a gentle simmer of our vegetables. Now here is a good time when we start to add some seasoning. There should be seasoning in your stock already, but because you've added a lot more vegetables, we can get away with adding some more. You layer your food, so if you have enough stock, you've seasoned that, you add some more, food to it, then that diffuses the flavour, and you can get away with adding some more pepper, which will add some spice to the food, or some salt, which will enhance the flavours of the vegetables already cooking. Let's have a little slurp. I'm going to add a little bit more salt, and I'm going to add some pepper. Now I've just poured in about 250 millilitres of milk. That's about a quarter of a pint. This has actually made the stock a creamier colour. And when we start to blend this down with our stick blender, once the potatoes have come to a bite, they're currently a little bit on the hard side. This will actually create a nice pale green colour from the leeks and the vegetables. You shouldn't see the orange of the carrot. And then what we'll do, we'll just check the seasoning and then serve it up with some nice crusty bread. We'll garnish that with a little bit of parsley on the top, or you can use some chives if you haven't already blown your mind with the onioniness of our leek and potato with the onion in. The potatoes are ready. Now I'm at a stage where I want to blend my soup mixture and make it thicker and creamier, and blending, pulsing with a stick in this case, will actually help that to happen. And then what we can do, we actually put it on the hob again for a little bit longer, and the starch in the potato will now thicken the soup up. So let's give that a go. Depending on how much you blend, you can have a more rustic soup or a smoother soup if you are feeling that way inclined. That's actually made a very nice smooth soup. This is the way I wanted it to come out. The leek is give a very nice subtle onion flavour to the soup, and it's fairly tasty, which is what we want in a soup. So I'm going to ladle this into my bowl, and I'm going to decorate this with some parsley. Now that's parsley there on the top, which again will add some flavour. And you can actually use this with parsley, or you can actually do this with some chives on the top. That'd be quite nice. So there we have our potato and leek soup, served with crusty bread. And we have made that, and it will be cheaper than anything you get out of a supermarket, out of a packet or a tin, and we still have a whole stock pot left over. So we are talking pennies for what we've just created. Bon appetit.